We're back with a rant view of Episode 3 of Season 4 of Strange New Worlds. Now, for those eagle-eyed viewers, you'll notice that there is no review of Episode 2. That's because I started recording a rant view of Episode 2, and then Spider-Man Brand New Day hit theaters, and I abandoned, well, I didn't abandon it, but I got sidetracked in that I was recording a rant view of Spider-Man Brand New Day, which I still don't like, and I'm going to like less over time. So I may come back to Episode 2 of Strange New Worlds Season 4 in the future. I'm not sure yet, but that's something that remains to be determined. So the title of this episode is called Human Best Friend. Really? We're doing that now. Really? Ugh. And it's directed by someone named Yana Gorskaya, who has about 8 directing credits, one episode of Strange New Worlds, something called Stumble, which I never heard of, The Burbs, which I saw, the reimagined, rebooted, requelled series. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't that good. One episode of that, St. Denis Medical, The Paper, What We Do in the Shadows, Time Bandits, the series, which I've heard is not very good. I haven't seen it. And Trial and Error. So, yeah, not a lot of sci-fi there. And it's written by somebody named Catherine Lin, who worked on 5 episodes of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Howard's Mill, The Truth Revealed, Star Trek Lower Decks, 10 episodes. Now, that's important. We're going to get back to that later in a little bit. Howard's Mill, again, Carmen Sandiego, and Find Me. Again, not a lot of sci-fi there. And somebody named Onitra Johnson, who has 1 writing credit to her name, 24 episodes of Strange New Worlds. I still count that as 1 writing credit because I don't know the depth of her contributions to that. And she had a credit as a writer's assistant. So, dear God, it used to be you had to work. They used to have real sci-fi writers write Star Trek. Now it's anybody off the street, it seems like. Without further ado, now, we start off with a personal log entry from Haircut, and, secondary character. We get to see things from her perspective a little bit. All right, that's kind of Star Trek. And we also get a personal log from Montgomery Scott. I don't know, listen, we call him, I don't know what to call this character, because it's not really like Scotty. It's a Scotty in name only. Sino. Maybe that's what we call him, Sino. Scotty in name only. So, yeah, both personal logs are going, and they're both complaining about each other. And he's complaining about how she's exceeding the limits of the ship systems, and she's complaining about how he's putting water lights and everything, so she covers the warning lights with black tape. Listen, you can do that with a check engine light, but, when people's lives are hanging in the balance, that's not a good idea to do it on a starship. Ugh. So Sino and Haircut are complaining about each other, and Una Chin-Ups and Stingray Davis are saying, wow, the crew's really on edge. They could use a vacation. So they get the idea that they're going to go on shore leave. Now, this is shaping up to be a shore leave episode, which I wouldn't have a problem with, but I'll tell you why I do in a little bit here. So where do they plan on going? They're going to Kids in the Hall planet over here. And the thing about this planet is that there's supposedly no technology allowed, and the atmosphere gets everybody high. The atmosphere gets everybody... Oh, geez. Really? The atmosphere gets... Oh, forgot. That's just an all-too-convenient plot device right there. And I'll explain why that's bad. And it's because somebody needs to act as the responsible one and be the designated driver. And that someone should be the captain. The captain should be the one saying, listen, I know you guys want to have fun as much as I want to be there with you. There's things on the ship here that need my personal attention, so I'm going to have to take my shore leave separate from the rest of you. So they're on the shuttle, and Sino and Haircut here, they're both complaining to each other. Oh, you got to ease up on the shuttle in the thin atmosphere. I am doing it just to piss you off. So they start breathing in the atmosphere. It takes about 10 seconds for them to get the full effects, and they're counting down 10, 9, 8, 7, yeah. And then next thing we know, Haircut wakes up all hungover in her bedroom, and who's there? It's a Mugato. Oh no, it's a Mugato. She punches the Mugato in the face. It turns out it's Scotty in a Mugato costume. I'm like, oh, that's disappointing. Maybe we could have gotten rid of her too. Turns out they both got blackout drunk on the atmosphere and they have no memory what happened. Then Kids in Hall shows up with a letter. Oh, hey, this is for Captain Stingray Davis. Oh, okay, we'll deliver it personally. And then at 8 minutes and 50 seconds, we finally get the opening credits. Listen, it's not as bad as previous weeks, but still, it's taking too long. It is taking far too long. Again, TNG would set this episode up in about 4 minutes. TOS would set this up in about 2 minutes. Why does it take 8 minutes and 50 seconds? This is just bad writing. So they're going to do the whole knocking on doors, and the first door they knock on is Spock's door. Turns out Spock is high, but he's still logically high, if there's such a thing. And he says he's been hallucinating about Kirk playing board games, whatever that means. Then he tells Haircut, you said something in the hallway about getting the dragon. Well, I finally got the dragon. Well, okay, whatever. So they both leave, then Spock has a hallucination about Buttknocker Kirk here. And Spock says, does my seeing you here have a deeper meaning? And Buttknocker Kirk says, Spock, do you need a hug? And then they hug it out. I'm like, okay, yeah. We're going to live out there some people's personal slash fiction. Oh, no, this is going to turn out bad. So anyway, we cut to Uhura's place. They knock on Uhura's door, and she's like totally tripping out. He's like, oh, lovies, how you doing? Oh, no, I haven't seen Stingray Davis. It's not my journey. You have to go on your own journey. And the stoner hippie Uhura seems kind of interesting, but it gets old fast. And she says, oh, see you later. Go find Stingray Davis. And she makes sure she touches the Haircut on the face, and the Haircut says, oh, your skin is so soft. Because they have to code her as gay. You know, I mean, they have no choice but to. So next, Scotty and Name Only stumbles down to the bar, and Haircut says, oh, I have to babysit you too now. And then they see a blue light, and they turn around, and it's Una Chin Up singing Klingon karaoke. Oh, geez, look at that. Because singing karaoke is something people totally do when they're drunk. I mean, when you see a sign that says karaoke tonight, I mean, who wouldn't want to sing a Klingon version of Total Eclipse of the Heart? Then they turn around, and Dr. Mbega is doing his impression of Tom Cruise in Cocktail at the Tenant Bar. I mean, what the hell's going on? And this is the point in the episode we realize, when we see Dr. Mbega doing all these tricks with the bottles, that this is not a coherent episode. This is actually a bunch of viral moments intended to be shown on TikTok strung together. I have no doubt in my mind that in the writer's room, when they had the big whiteboard, they were writing down ideas, and Benga attending bar, Una Chin-Ups, singing karaoke. Oh yeah, these will look great on TikTok, guys. And of course he pours a drink, and Scotty says, what is that? And he says, it's green. Cool, right? Oh, really? You gotta put that as an Easter egg? That's gonna be a TikTok moment itself, too. I have no doubt. If you even notice, a lot of the shots, a lot of the action is even framed for TikTok. The main character, the focus is right in the center of the screen. It's, oh God, really? This might as well be called short attention span theater at this point. So Mega tells him where the Captain Stingray Davis is, and it turns out he's getting a tattoo. Oh, God. And they're still doing tattoos in the 23rd century, 24th century, whatever it is, with needles and ink? You think there'd be a better way? You think they'd be using lasers now? So Captain Drunk Stingray Davis says, oh, the Redaxians or whatever it is, whatever they are, they're going to be here in 2 hours. We better get the shuttle and round up everybody and then go meet them. Oh, cool. So the Scotty and Haircut, they go to get the shuttle, and it turns out it's missing. Oh, yeah, somebody moved it. Well, who moved it? We don't know. So we pick up with Act 2, and they're still arguing. Oh, why'd you lose the shuttle? Oh, you're an idiot. Oh, we need to find a tricorder. Left it on the shuttle. Oh, I know one person wouldn't leave the tricorder on the shuttle. And so they go knock on Uhura's door again. Oh, I can't give you my tricorder because it's not my journey, and you need to follow your own journey. But what if giving me your tricorder is your journey? Oh, okay then. And before Uhura gives him the tricorder, he says, you two have to apologize to each other. So Scotty says, Erica, I'm sorry that I doubted you. And Haircut says, Scotty, I'm sorry you had your doubts about me. I'm like, what? You couldn't even apologize. They couldn't even admit that she did anything wrong. I'm telling you, really, you can't have any of these. You can't have any of the female characters on the show admit some kind of fault. Okay, fine, whatever. So they got the tricorder, and Scotty hacks into the computer system. And oh, look, there's a shuttle. He throws it at Haircut. And it goes over the railing, and bang, smashes it in a million pieces. Oh, why'd you throw that for me? I'm sorry, I didn't make a good decision, okay? So they figure out that the shuttle was on the security camera, so they have to go get someone hacking the security system, so they go get Spock. So Spock goes to the security office with them, and the security office is strangely uninhabited at the moment. And he mind melds, I kid you not, mind melds with a plant. And sure enough, that reveals where the shuttle is. I'm telling you. So Spock concludes that the shuttle was stolen by a gang of thieves and said, oh yeah, go get launched. She's got a lot of pent-up energy and she's really scary right now. So Haircut says, why can't we bring you, Spock? We want to bring you. Says, no, I'm not in the best shape right now. Besides, you both look like plants. I'm not kidding. That was a thing. They both look like plants because Spock was hallucinating. And once again, Spock's hallucinating that Fart Knocker Kirk is here. And he says, I've never had a human best friend. I have many things to talk about. Hopes, fears, dreams. I'm like, oh, that's so adorable. They're going to share. You want me to put out a pot of tea for you guys? Then we cut to go and find Lon. It turns out she's taking a Tai Chi class and she turns into a martial arts form, a dojo. Oh, wow, look at that. So they say, oh, Lon, bring the stick. Then we cut to them confronting the gang that stole the shuttle, and Lon says, wait here, I negotiate best alone. And she kicks ass, and she becomes the leader of the gang. So the shuttle's been stashed behind a billboard, and they go in there, and they say, oh, well, where are the keys? I'm like, this whole thing has been trying to find the keys to the car. Yeah, great. Oh, boy. So they're arguing, and the Haircut bangs her hand on the console, and the console turns on, and what, like she's the Fonz now? And it turns out that Scotty hid the key to the shuttle in the cast. Oh, great. Isn't that convenient? Then they get kidnapped CIA style, and that's the end of Act 2. So they're both on the floor, and Scotty says, it's because I had 6 brothers. Yeah, when things went wrong, everything was blamed on me. And Haircut says, I used to get in trouble for blaming Beto for things that weren't his fault. Oh, yeah, and all we need to do was, and they have this nice moment to say, work together, and they work together, and they free themselves from the ropes. Oh, yeah, yay. Then Kids in the Hall shows up and says, hey, you guys wanted me to keep you away from the shuttle, and then he sealed it with a high five. Hey, high five. Yeah, those sound like something I'd say, doesn't it? And it turns out the reveal is that when the message came in, the whole thing was planned by Kids in the Hall to get them to work together and to leave their anger behind them. Oh, well, isn't that special? So Kids in the Hall leaves the Haircut with words of wisdom and says, yeah, listen, we're all looking for a reason to be mad, but you got to decide whether or not you're going to carry it with you through your day or figure out what it is you're being angry about. Like, oh, okay. And that haircut is one thing that she should be angry about. Change your barber. How about that? Then Kids in the Hall says, you might want to stop by room C because one of your crewmates is causing an issue. And yeah, we can't have that. So they go by room C and they're playing bingo. And turns out that Nurse Chapel is causing a ruckus with the old ladies playing bingo. I'm like, oh, God, really? Really? Ugh, God. This just gets worse and worse. Then La'an shows up and they bust up the whole scene there. Oh, God, please. And then there's still 15 minutes of this episode to go. So they cut to the shuttle, and they're all hungover. And Stingray Davis says, we got to make sure these peace talks go right, because a lot's at stake. Ooh, I can go for a steak right now. I'm like, yeah, you're not the only one, okay, pal? And they're back on the Enterprise, and the Redaxian, or whatever the hell they're called, they beam aboard, and hey, look, we've been invaded by a flock of seagulls. Oh, wow. And then we cut to the shuttle bay, and Scotty's getting on the shuttle to fix it. And the shuttle bay is massive. How big is this ship? Dear God. So then he gets on the shuttle, and we see Haircut's already fixing it. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm fixing the shuttle. Why are you fixing the shuttle? Oh, there's something I didn't tell you, is that when I used to blame Beto for stuff, is because I was jealous, and because he was good at everything, and everything was so hard for me. Oh, and I failed impulse mechanics, and I wanted to be an engineer, but I became a navigator instead. You mean a woman in modern Star Trek admitting that she has a flaw and a weakness? That's a milestone. Are you kidding me? Somebody mark the day and time. We actually have a character growth moment. And Scotty's a bit envious of her because she's a good pilot and he's not. And he avoids the helm because he's not that good at it. Oh, 2 character growth moments. Well, yeah, one more than the other, but still. Then Scotty finds something planted behind one of the consoles, and it turns out it's Boom Boom. Oh, no. So Haircut goes to 10 forward, and Stingray Davis is still giving the speech to Flock of Seagulls. It turns out he had the speech tattooed on his hands, and he went overboard with the tattoos like Mike Tyson. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, this is the fucking Hangover. Seriously, you couldn't make Star Trek, so you had to make the Hangover. So they have to get a message to the captain, and they actually play telephone. Oh, God, really? This is infantile. Hey everyone, Robb in editing here. I got about 3/4 of the way in editing this video, and then I got to this bit where they're playing telephone, and I realized something. I've seen this before. They lifted this right out of the movie Johnny Dangerously.
Furman's gonna kill Johnny's mother at the Savoy Theater tonight, pass it on. Furman's gonna kill Johnny's mother at the Savoy Theater tonight, pass it on. Furman's gonna kill Johnny at the Savoy Theater, pass it on. Savoy, pass it on. There's a message through the grapevine, Johnny. Yeah? What is it? Johnny and the mothers are playing stuffing at the Savoy in Vermont tonight. Furman's gonna kill my brother at the Savoy Theater tonight. I didn't say that. No, but I know this grapevine. I'm
sure this has been done in other places, but that's where I remember it most vividly for seeing it. You can do an homage to other things. I've seen homages to like things like Soupy Sales and Monty Python, and I've seen people do their tributes to other things like Benny Hill, whatever it is. But at some point, you gotta remember what you're doing. You're doing Star Trek. If you want to slip in a reference here and there, that's fine. But you know what? At this point, it's no longer Star Trek. You're just pulling stuff in from The Hangover, from Johnny Dangerously, from all these other things. You're doing Resident Evil. And I think the larger point in this is that if you're young enough, you don't know what these references are, you don't know where they come from, you're probably going to enjoy this a lot more. But I do. And I'm just seeing that you're blatantly ripping off better shit. You're stealing material from movies that are a whole lot better than this. Come up with something original. Even if you don't come up with something original, do it well enough so that you don't mind. For God's sake. You did The Hangover. You do a Cheech and Chong Stoner episode. What's next? You're going to do Fantasy Island? And if you're out there and you're thinking I'm being angry just to be angry at it, just because I have an axe to grind against Star Trek, the axe to grind I have is that when I tune in to see Star Trek, I want to see Star Trek. I don't want to see all these other things. If you want to throw in a little reference, that's fine. But you know what? You're just blatantly ripping off other stuff at this point. There's nothing wrong with doing Star Trek, and you don't want to do that. You want to do Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You want to do Resident Evil. You want to do Alien. You want to do everything but Star Trek. I want to see Star Trek for a change. How about that? How about we start there? All right, back to the video. So Spock figures it out using reverse human logic, and he's still saying, I don't know how much help I'm going to be because you're still a cactus. Oh, get it together, Spock. So Spock's on the shuttle, he scans the bomb, and it's going to go boom, boom, and then he finds an isolinear chip, and it turns out that Haircut and Scotty both planned this whole thing. They planned the whole thing. They planned the whole thing from the beginning. Go out! So Spock scans the bomb, and it's going to go boomy, boomy, bang, bang if they beam it out. And so Scotty says, get off the shuttle. I'll fly it out of here. Oh, you can't fly it out. I'll fly it out because I can't let you sacrifice yourself, Scotty. And Spock says, we'll beam you out about a nanosecond before the bomb goes boom. So Spock's in the transport room, he's making his calculations, and then Fart Knocker Kirk shows up, and he says, oh, geez, he's helpful to have another set of hands, but you're a hallucination. Hallucination be gone. And then Kirk whacks him across the face. I'm not a hallucination, because that hurt. Do you want another? No. All right, let's get back to doing this here. So we cut to Stingray Davis, and he's giving his speech, and the flock of seagulls says, oh, this is insulting. I can't believe you insulted us like this. Oh, this is horrible. And they see the shuttle, and it goes boom, and all fireworks display, and flock of seagulls really happy. Oh, wow, you've honored us in the greatest way possible. You got the iridium or whatever it was. And now we can continue with the peace talks. Yay! And we saved the day accidentally. And then we cut to the transporter room, and Haircut and Scotty are still alive. Oh, we're still alive, yeah, because the afterlife wouldn't look like the transporter bay. Yeah, and, says, oh, we're alive. And Scotty holds up his thumb, and it's bent backwards. Ouch! You think he'd be, like, charred or something, but the thumb is the only thing that really, but okay, well, whatever. And then Spock says, before you fade away, illusion of Kirk, I want to say thank you. And then Haircut says, oh, hey, Kirk, how's it going? As she takes Scotty to the sickbay. And it turns out all those run-ins with Kirk, it wasn't an illusion. He was really there. He was on vacation on Cessnar. And Spock says, I told you everything. And Kirk says, yep, and those secrets are safe with me. Spock says, are you going to hug me? And Kirk's like, do you want me to? And I'm like, oh, God, really? So we cut to 10 forward, and they're all recounting about all their embarrassing details about their vacation. And Mbenga's behind the bar, and he's showing off his skills. And Stingray Davis is saying the Rodaxian terrorist, he tried to blow up the conference, and we thwarted him and removed these tattoos off my face. And then we get a nice personal log entry from Haircut once again. She goes down to engineering, and Scotty says, oh, I've given you a wee bit more push through that, but just a wee bit more, and don't push it too hard. And she walks out and smiling. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's nice. We're friends now. Okay, and that's the end of the episode. Then the credits roll, and there's bonus material, and Una Chin-Ups is singing Total Eclipse of the Heart in Klingon, and that's the end of the episode. And listen, there's parts of it I kind of like, in summary, but on the whole, this is The Hangover. This is many of the plot points are lifted directly from The Hangover. You might as well call this Star Trek Hangover. Here's the thing. People are going to say, well, TNG had comedic episodes, and TOS had comedic episodes. Why can't you have it in Strange New Worlds? Listen, if it's one episode out of 24, 22 episodes, even 30 episodes in a season, all right, then you can dismiss it. Okay, yeah, you know what? You did your comedic episode, but next week you'll be back to doing whatever. There's only 10 episodes of these per season. This is 10% of the output, and they do 2 or 3 farcical episodes per season. That's 20, 30% of the output. And the rest of the output is not good enough to warrant these. This is like every week if Worf said, "I am not a merry man." I'm at a loss here, guys. I'm at a loss. And this very much feels like a live-action episode of Lower Decks, because one of the writers is a Lower Decks writer. And no doubt that was her inspiration. It's just mind-boggling. You can't do Star Trek. You want to do everything else. You want to do a horror episode. You want to do The Hangover. You want to do a zombie episode, Resident Evil style episode. You want to do Alien. Do Star Trek. And for those who are going to say, well, why can't Star Trek be other things? Why does it have to? Because it's Star Trek. Star Trek is its own genre. Star Trek is its own thing. Doing Star Trek as other things means you're not doing Star Trek. Listen, there's the old adage, you have to learn to crawl before you can walk. You have to walk before you can run. You have to do Star Trek first before you do these other things. Before you do your farcical fantasy episode, before you do your Hangover episode, before you do your Resident Evil episode, you're not doing Star Trek. I want to see Star Trek. Well, but this isn't made for you. I've been watching this show since I was 4 years old. Who the it made for? And everything is framed for TikTok. Again, this episode is a bunch of attempts at creating viral TikTok moments, and they're just strung together. There's very little in terms of a cohesive plot here. And whatever plot there is comes right out of The Hangover. The more I think about this episode, the less I like it. It really does have that effect on me. It really does. And I try to keep these as succinct as possible, but there's just so much wrong with it. There really is. Why can't you do Star Trek? I just don't understand. Is it so difficult? And this is obviously still, this whole season so far has still been a backdoor pilot for Star Trek Year 1. The whole season. We're only 3 episodes in, but so far Kirk's been in it more than anybody else. This was written and filmed before the Skydance Paramount merger. So you can tell they are angling to try and create a new Star Trek spinoff, Star Trek Year 1, out of this season, because of how much Kirk is in it. And they're pairing Kirk and Spock together. And I keep saying, we don't need Star Trek Year 1. We already have Star Trek Year 1, and it's called Star Trek! And for those who are going to say, well, how can you tell it's a backdoor pilot? How can you tell it's a backdoor? Because that's what they've always done. They start drip-feeding other characters and other things into this. They said that the Enterprise wouldn't appear. Then the Enterprise appears at the end of Season 1 of Discovery. Then they said, oh, well, we're not going to have Kirk. And then Kirk appears. They start drip-feeding things into the series little by little, and before you know it, they try to create a grassroots groundswell Twitter campaign to have a new Star Trek spin-off series emerge out of all of this. Well, thankfully, that's probably not going to happen. But we're going to get more Kirk drip-fed into this series. Oh, yeah. We're going to get more Kirk. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Well, that's it. I might have to go back and do Episode 2, but this is as long as I want to make it. It's 22 minutes so far. I keep asking, can it get worse? It could always get worse. Dear God. People say, why do I watch this? Because I'm not going to review a series that I don't watch. And I'm watching it so that I can tell everybody just how bad it is. All right, everybody. We'll have more at some point, but I got to get to editing this. These are going to be a edit. Okay, everybody. So that's it. This one's in the books. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. It's getting worse. It's just getting worse.